Well, hello, everyone. I don't know if you heard the opening credit. I didn't hear it, but we are the Neutral Zone. We fixed that in post. I'm Jason Schwartz, your host. We're at the Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com, which is the preferred way to watch this show because we have a full transcript and a summary of this show. In fact, of all our shows. Right now, you can find it on Maui Stream, which is Akaku's phone app. You can find it online at akaku.org. You can find it at 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui in central Maui. It's kind of hard to pick up at the edges. But I have a guest today who you've been watching me do political candidates, people running for mayor, you for council in the field. I thought, I'm going to go back to a private citizen. I got to rest. And I said, wait, I know some person that probably has a lot to say and has experience saying it. And I have Les Iczkovitz. Is that right, Iczkovitz?
Iczkovitz.
Say it again.
Iczkovitz. It's both my parents.
You have to say the itch.
Well, you got to do it with your hands also. Both my parents were Holocaust survivors from Czechoslovakia.
Oh.
And so it's. And I say it's an old. 50 years I've told people I've been in Hawaii now for 48 years. The first 40 years on Oahu, and about 8 years ago I moved to Maui.
Well, welcome. I've been here for 37, going on 38. That's half my life. I'm 75 now, and I just feel like I'm almost in stride. It's amazing, this Hawaii life. I'm sure you're not 40 years old either.
I'm 73. I think it's the new middle age.
Yeah, it's really a terrific thing. Well, you are right now the president of the Maui Meadows Neighborhood Association,
yeah.
But you have other roles in our county, like.
I'm also on the board of the Maui Tomorrow Foundation.
On the board of Maui Tomorrow, Albert Perez, he was on our show. He's a beautiful man.
Yeah, great organization. It's been a great organization for 40 years.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Maui Tomorrow, Kihei especially, South Maui, all of Hawaii would not look like it does now because it stopped the developments. You know, the thing about developments, if developers followed the law, they wouldn't have to be sued. But every time they think they can make a lot of money by violating the law, and if it wasn't for organizations like Maui Tomorrow, who doesn't want to sue people, they want people to do the right things, but sometimes the only way to get the law complied with is you have to sue them.
And Albert Perez is the guy that, him and Rick Sands and Tony Rankin, that helped save Big Beach way back when, before Maui Tomorrow even got its start. I remember.
Mark Sheehan was a big, McKenna, right. And they've done just tremendous things, and right now they're still doing tremendous things. So I just have to put a pitch in for them. If you believe in the environment of Maui, please support Maui Tomorrow. Become a member.
Tomorrow.
It's a great organization.
And you're also on other things.
Yeah.
Like.
Gosh.
What were you doing in Oahu? You had a radio show?
No, I'm actually started my 9th business on Maui in Hawaii.
Oh.
My first business was 1979 when I first moved here. I started Maui Parcel Service, which was, I had to obtain a certificate of public convenience and necessity from the Public Utility Commission. And I finally got it. It took me longer than I thought. And I ended up going to Oahu first where I took the bar. And then I met this beautiful woman who had this beautiful 5-year-old, and sometimes women and children change your plans. But I visited Maui a lot. Yeah. I got very involved with the Sufi spiritual community over here, and I started coming over a lot. And after I survived a stage 4 cancer 10 years ago, I decided to live the life I want to live and be of service, and moved to Maui. And that's what I've been doing. And
we're richer for it. Thank you for coming here. You've been, what's it like being in the Maui Meadows Homeowners Association? I know there was a river running through it. I thought it was Montana movie.
It's not a homeowners association.
Oh, it's not?
No, there used to be a homeowners association, which wasn't required. And then there was the Maui Meadows Neighborhood Association, which was just a volunteer. They actually merged. So the surviving one was just the Maui Meadows Neighborhood Association. We don't have any CC&Rs. We have nothing that we can enforce. We're just there to notify represent the neighborhood. So when things like recently the Planning Commission had something for them where they're going to get a special use permit for the widening of Pialani Highway to 4 lanes, something that the developers were committed to doing in 2008 when they first got their approval for the Wailea 670 project, now Honualua. And they promised at that time, the developers said, yes, and the law was changed to require this. Yes, the developers have to pay for the widening of the highway completely. They have to pay for it. And they can't do one part of any development activities until the highway is first planned.
Oh, that's great.
Great. But that was in 2008. But Lucienne Duné, who's also on the board of Maui Tomorrow, who is just brilliant and incredible advocate.
She should be our mayor.
What she said was, if only we can trust future councils to maintain this. So what happens? 17 years later, last year, the Maui Council, led by Yukili Sigamura and Tom Cook and the other 3 development-supported developers, they changed the law. They received, 2 years ago, they received $500,000 collectively in campaign contributions from the real estate development. So it's for a better tomorrow. Any candidate who's receiving money for a better tomorrow is for development and for short-term rental everywhere. And basically what happened was they, they changed the law. So what they did was, in return for that money, they voted 5-4, the five bad guys. I call them bad guys because they don't care about Maui. All they care about is Maui, money. And they changed the law so that it took away the requirement for the developers to widen the highway. So they gave them $100 million present. That was a gift. It was pure corruption.
Now, that's an area that we would have seen widen long ago, but it's an expensive piece because of what's there, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Basically,
So it stops them cold. So when is it going to happen?
Oh, now they changed the law.
Right. So what happens now?
They gave the special use permit to allow the widening, even though there's nobody, no entity, not the state of Hawaii, no developer is agreed to pay for it. But they say they're going to widen it anyway. And what happened, how it's affecting Maui Meadows, and this is really why I got so involved, is that Maui Meadows, when they start the widening, they're going to start blasting like hell to widen the highway. And it's going to affect every home, every swimming pool in Maui Meadows. And it's going to affect the swimming pools. It's going to affect everything. So I complained. It says, nobody from the developers contacted Maui Meadows to get our input. And they said, yeah, we talked to other people. We don't care about Maui Meadows Neighborhood Association. Because they don't, because they showed it. They said they're not much of an association. They dissed us. So unfortunately, the whole thing about that law, which really pissed me off and a lot of other people, is that Tom Cook used to live upcountry. He didn't live in Kihei. And 6 years ago, was it 6 years? He decided that he got convinced by rich people to move to Kihei. He never lived in Kihei. He had no connection to Kihei, but he moved to Kihei to run for office. And the first time he ran, he lost to Kelly King, and then he beat Kelly. Well, no, the second time, Kelly ran for mayor and Robin Knox ran for the office. Tom beat. Robin's an amazing, brilliant water expert, but wasn't a winning candidate. And then Cook won, and then Kelly tried to get the seat back 2 years ago and somehow lost by 97 votes. Out of 50,000 votes in Maui County total, 10,000 ballots did not, according to the people who counted the ballots, which was some suspicions there as well. 10,000 people didn't mark anybody for the ballots. So if 110 people had marked Kelly King instead of not doing anything, then we would have had a progressive 5-4 majority, and none of these developments would have been approved. None of them. These breakers care about affordable housing. What do we need in Maui? We need affordable housing for the people who live here. We don't need massive. They want to build 5,000 more homes for billionaires and millionaires in McKenna and Wailea, and it's just awful. It's just ridiculous.
Well, that's why Maui Tomorrow and why Sierra Club and why, Maui Pono Network, and we can go on, all the different groups that are standing up and saying, hello. It's not that I'm not opposed to development of everything in its right time and its right place. I'm so thankful there's a Maui Tomorrow. So thankful for a Lucienne Dene and Robin Knox.
Every
and
day.
Shay Chan Hodges, and Paul Deloria and the Bruce Douglas and the work they do.
And I want to make a special thanks to Dick Mayer. Also, just an incredible human being. They are our historical basis. I mean, Dick Mayer and Lucienne knows everything that's happened on this island for decades, and they've been the foremost providers of information and providing the support we need, the statistics and the data. But we're fighting big money interests who care. Here, politician, just take all our money and. We'll take care of you.
This law, this 5-4 decided on law, it can be decided again, right?
Well, if you have a new mayor, which I don't think we're going right now, the choice, it looks like out of the 10 candidates for mayor, I saw 9 of them at a forum at Pro Arts a couple weeks ago.
It was quite an experience. I've interviewed some of them, but not Rick Bisson or Yuki yet.
Yeah, they're not going to come on your show.
But I've had Denise LaCosta, had Joseph Moses, Justin Herman, Travis Liggett. All these people a lot of them have great ideas. Joseph Moses, actually, I did a few shows with him. He was excited to get his message out. You think we're not going to have a change in mayor?
I think my observation, I watch a lot of YouTube because I don't do cable TV. And YouTube there's free, so anybody can watch it. All you need is the internet access.
Yep.
So anybody who's watching YouTube on a regular basis is seeing a lot of commercials for P.D. LaCosta.
The slash and burn Yuki ads or different ones?
The slash and burn Yuki ads and just all sorts of things. But she's, I'm not a big fan. She's had things about Hawaiians that are just not complimentary to Hawaiians. She approved all these. She voted in favor of these developments when she was on the Planning Commission, and she was the chairman of the Planning Commission. And she says some good things. She says she's going to do certain things. Some people now are encouraging her to come out there's some major corruption issues going on. And people are saying, if you want our support, you have to come out. You have to stand for something. All the ads that she's saying is saying, I'm just going to give money away. I'm going to give this, I'm going to give that, and people are going to get this. But how's she going to pay for it? She has a plan. Whoever's running her campaign is efficient at running different ads and creating ads quickly.
Really good.
But she's not saying what. I met with her, and I asked her particularly hard questions, and she gave answers that were, seemed positive, but the follow-up is, what is she doing? Is she coming out on the corruption issues? The corruption on this county is endemic. It's systemic.
How do you come out when the media hears? Are they covering all the candidates? Maui News and Maui Now. I don't know who.
No, I don't.
There's
Maui.
Not much coverage.
Maui.
That's what we are. We're trying to expand it a little.
The editor of Maui News was supposed to publish articles about Tom Cook. They had a journalist that was working for them who contacted me. I filled them in on everything. This was last fall, August, September.
Wow.
And he said, and I can't remember the journalist's name, and he promised me that this was when the ethics hearings were happening on my Tom Cook complaint against Tom Cook, and then they didn't publish it. They promised me in writing, we were going to publish this before this Board of Ethics hearing. In fact, the journalist who I spent time with preparing the article, he quit because the editor of Maui News didn't have the courage or cojones.
Yeah.
He was afraid. And that's what happens a lot here, fear. Fear stops people from taking care of things.
Well, thank you for coming on our show. You see, we're a neutral zone. Subtitled, it's anything but neutral. We're not neutral. But I'd like to see any and every, I'd love to have Tom Cook on here. Be an interesting discussion, right? Be like, what's the issue about the Tom Cook piece? Because I remember going to something up in the courthouse, and it was a hearing after I wasn't really sure what was happening. Nothing happened.
So what happened with Tom Cook? So last June 30th, last year, I filed an ethics complaint with the Maui County Board of Ethics. And it was simple. When Tom Cook was first ran for office, he no longer was a contractor. He didn't have a license. He was collecting unemployment, which is anybody's entitled to unemployment.
Sure.
And this moment he got elected mayor, I don't know if it was days.
Council.
Elected council. I don't know how many days or weeks, but he got hired by a construction company named LC Hauling, and he was paid $96,000 a year to work for a construction company. At the same time, for Maui County, he was being paid $76,000 a year, or something like that, as a Maui councilman. And then what happened? But what he did was he approached the Board of Ethics. He asked them for an advisory opinion. He said, is the fact that I'm working for this company and being paid $96,000 a year a conflict of interest? Is it violating the ethics? And as guided by Corporation Counsel, which, in my opinion, is the most corrupt agency that Maui has, these lawyers are unethical.
Well, I know a couple of them in there that I know have a heart, so maybe there's a control that isn't. But okay,
the ones I know,
really,
Maui County. Oh God, they're the worst. They're conflicted. So what happened was.
Wow.
They said just being hired by if LC Hauling doesn't have any contracts with the county, it's not a conflict of interest.
That's a pretty ridiculous.
But he left something very important out. Well, it's one thing if you get you admit that I'm being paid $96,000 a year. I have a job. Well, what do you normally have to do for that job? You have to work for it. What Tom Cook did not disclose to the Board of Ethics or the people of Maui at the time, that he didn't have to work a single hour for his $96,000. He was going to be paid his $8,000 a month, each and every month, if he didn't spend 10 minutes working for his employer. He had one job, in my opinion. He was hired, his job was to vote in favor of every real estate development project that came before Maui County, and he did.
Well, why wasn't that considered a conflict of interest? Just because the company that he was being paid for wasn't in contract with the county?
It didn't make any sense. But as advised by the Corporation Counsel, that's how they ruled. Corporation Counsel guided them. Now, if he had been a state employee, under the state ethics code, it says that if you are employed by a company, you have a financial interest in that company. That doesn't apply to Maui County. The Maui County Code of Ethics didn't include that provision, but it still should be pretty damn obvious. If you're being paid by a construction company and you're regulating that construction industry, and you're being paid and just to vote and not have to work, but he didn't disclose that he didn't have to work for an hour. So when I found that out, I filed a complaint. And in fact, when a big part of my complaint is that they violate the Sunshine Law whenever they publish their agendas, because they don't fully disclose what they're supposed to disclose. How do you know? They don't even disclose. They did not disclose my ethics complaint on the agenda of their meetings at which they discussed.
Really?
So no citizen of Maui could know, unless they were friends of mine or they pay attention to Maui Pono. Nobody knew that that was the case, that the ethics complaint was even brought before.
So even now, the public hadn't. Maui News still hasn't printed anything on it?
No.
What about the other group, Maui Now?
I haven't seen anything.
Pacific Media Group.
Maui Now, I've seen things. There's a guy there. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's pro-development. Brian Perry or somebody. I can't remember his name.
Well, yeah. Brian Perry used to work for the Maui News. Then he worked for the mayor's office as I guess, the voice of Michael Victorino. But, again, it's going to be interesting after this show because I can't imagine people would want to keep this one quiet. This is an election time, and has Cook said anything more publicly at all?
No.
No. And you think he would be... Tom, if you're listening or want to see, you're welcome to come here, whether you want to just sit with me again. I'm happy to have you. In fact, all you candidates that are running out there, you're welcome to come. I don't sit in the studio, but I will do interviews out in the field with you. We're now in the throes of the season, this equal time on radio thing. I really think we need more coverage. I'm really glad that a Maui Pono network is doing their own interviews, and I wish that all these things could be more shown to the public. I've been doing this interview thing for 15 election cycles. And when you look at my site, it has a search engine. So when you put in housing, every time they say housing in all the shows, it comes up. You should see all these subjects, present company included. It's very promises made and not kept. Interesting, but also the heart of Maui, the voice of Maui comes through. What you're saying now, I hope people will, like Paul Revere, keep sharing, because that decision of one vote could make developers responsible for things they have to be responsible for. Yeah, that's horrible to me.
Horrible.
$100 million. How many houses are they trying to build? At least 670.
Lucien would have all the numbers and Dick Mayer, but at least 6,000 in South Maui, and that's in Wailea. Honolulu is 1,400 or 1,200. They're gonna do. There's 8 undeveloped parcels in Wailea. They're gonna develop all of them. There's not all these beautiful neighborhoods that you have. It's by the dog park and whatever, and that park there. You have all these beautiful spots that are undeveloped, and now
and are zillionaires.
And they're all zillionaires. And they're all going to become gated communities, and they're going to go away.
So there's quite a chance that this election season could be pivotal to the future development of Maui, right?
Completely. Right now, because you have 9 members, 4 progressives, 5 developer oriented. All we have to, if Kelly had won, none of this development would have been approved.
Right.
Well, if Kelly wins now and everybody else stays the same, then it's 5-4 for the progressives. But Sugimura's not going to. She had a safe seat. You have to ask, why did Yuki Lee Sugimura give up? She had 2 more terms that she could legally run. She had a safe job, making over $100,000 a year. Why did she give up that safety? So again, I have a conspiracy. I don't have a conspiracy mind, but what I know for sure in 50 years of being a lawyer, it's always about the money. How much money did it take for Yuki Lee Sugimura to give up her safe seat and run for mayor? Because all the money that she's receiving is coming from, a lot of it is coming from a PAC called For a Better Tomorrow. And it's all mainland based. Do we really want a mayor that's receiving all of its finance contributions from developers who want to develop Maui? Because that's what Yuki Lee stands for. I'm not a big fan of Mayor Bisson. He was a good judge. I appeared in front of him once, and he made the right ruling, and I was thankful for that. But I blame Mayor Bisson for Lahaina, for the fire. I still want to know, when the fire happened, Mayor Bisson was asked, he said he was seen at Maui Emergency Services at 7 a.m. Nobody saw him until the next day. Mayor Bisson is on record for having said that, where were you on the day of the fire? How is it that you did not know anybody died until the following day? Where were you? And he never answered that question. He said, now is not the time to answer the question. We have to take care of people. Well, it's 3 years later. Answer the question, Mayor Bisson. The people have a right to know. Where were you the day of the fire, and why didn't you know anybody died the day of the fire? Why did it take the next day? Were you off island? Were you in a dalliance somewhere? Where the hell were you? Be honest. That's my biggest problem with Mayor Bisson. He did a terrible. He didn't do a good job. He didn't. He had an opportunity to do the report on how to prevent fires after the prior fire in Lahaina. He didn't do anything about it. And what he did is he chose, like every other mayor in the history of Maui, chose all friends to run the departments. Corporation Counsel, for the Department of Public Works. And what happens is these people get in there. None of them are professionals. They don't know, they're just friends. They don't know how to, head of Department of Works, he doesn't know anything about Department of Works. Planning director, he doesn't know anything about planning. They're not professionals. But when they know this, they're going to have a job for at most 4, maybe 8 years. And they know, and what in that job, they're going to be regulating various big companies in the industries. And they know that as soon as they get out of office, they know if they take good care of those people, those rich people, they know they have a great job as soon as they're available. And that's the payoff. And that's why Maui County is the most corrupt place I've ever lived.
Wow.
Worse than Vegas.
And worse than Oahu, huh?
Or worse than New Orleans. That's another notorious place.
Wow.
Oahu's got its own story. It's got 1.3 million people.
Can we change it? Yes, we can.
We can. All we have to do is vote for
people that are more, like, for example, I look forward to looking at the candidates in Kula, because how many people are running there? 4. They're going to be showing tomorrow night at the Kihei meeting. We're going to have people
that's
from the
Pro
west
Arts?
side. What?
That's tomorrow? Pro Arts?
Tomorrow night. Yeah, Kihei Community Association at Pro Arts. I mean, there are 3 races only here, right? Kula has John Yokouchi. Who's John Yokouchi?
I've never heard of him. I don't know. I've only been on Maui 5-6 years.
Is he related to Pundi?
I have no idea. I've only been Maui 6 years.
Pundi is. Pundi's the inspiration and helped create the Maui Arts Cultural Center.
Oh, cool.
But he's a nice family.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Derek Kabilis, I think he was not interviewed by Maui Pono Network.
He is complete. I saw his ads yesterday. Every ad backed by More Better Tomorrow. He's pro-developer. If you're a progressive and you care about this island, please, please, please vote for Bobby Pahia.
That's the other guy, Bobby Pahia. Everyone knows.
Everybody knows Bobby, who loves him.
And
he is a local boy.
Man.
He is just.
I had a couple of interviews with people that were on his farm area. I was going to sit and do an interview with him way back when. He's just.
I don't know Bobby, but everybody I know who knows him says he's just a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
And the other candidate that's got so that would make it if Kelly and he wins, that gives us 6 progressives. And guess what? James Forrest, he's got a shot too. He's a lawyer. He's a
He's a public defender.
Yeah.
He knows how to write laws. He knows how to work those nuances like yourself.
So my endorsement is Bobby Pahia, Kelly King, and James Forrest. You do that, and Maui's got a chance, and then we can really do that.
Then, no matter who's mayor, you have a chance.
Exactly, because you have a supermajority, right? You can override the mayor.
What a story!
And we can do.
And the things that Maui's been, hankering to do for a long time, might get reprioritized. When Kelly had that committee for climate and environmental committee, and then it was gone. Out there we have a lot of time. We can. There was a movie called The Need to Grow. Rob Herring and his partner did a movie, and there was a guy on there, Michael Smith, who took blue-green algae and they grew it into a fuel, and they did a whole thing. And then his place was burned down. We wanted to test it here. We were able to get I got involved in the media part. Precious $50,000 showed 3,000% growth in months on microbiome. Found that our waste becomes our fuel, becomes our growth vector. We could do all this, every kind of good things. They get rid of that committee. They don't look over the horizon. Because why? Well, you just told me why.
It's called money.
Money.
Everything comes down to money.
God.
That's all people care about. Well, the locals, there are people on this island. I've been so impressed by the level of people who really care about this island, the efforts they do, the support they give their neighbors. They really build community. When somebody needs something, people are there, they show up. You know, when my friend was, the mudslides a few years ago, and the Minister of Fun of Maui, Lily, was trapped in her house.
I remember.
She was just, it was mud. Mud covered the doors. First, neighbors just came to her aid. They dug her out. And she's one of the most beloved human beings on this island. And, she's one of my dearest friends. And we just have to focus on what's important. And this island is important. The water is important. I mean, Mayor Victorino, when he fought that lawsuit all the way to the Supreme Court to allow the polluting for, it was just...
Have you had conversation with Travis Liggett?
No, never heard.
Well...
I deposed Mayor Victorino, but I don't know the case.
He's a guy that knows water. A friend of mine in this most recent flood that came down into Kihei, who was working with me on my website, right at the point where we were going to do the marketing piece, he was 2 inches in water, and when coming back to get his stuff, he got some kind of parasites that almost lost his feet. Travis had the same thing from wastewater and has extensively looked at it. He's running for mayor. I think that if he doesn't become mayor, which is very likely he may not, but his ideas need to be pursued carefully. I know sometimes he may seem eccentric. He's a very brilliant guy and has tremendous ideas.
And John, I don't know if you've had John Dunbar on?
I have not. What do you think of him?
I met him he was helping an ex-client of mine years ago, and then he showed up at the hearing at the court when the court affirmed
at your thing. That's
my thing.
I met him there.
Yeah, and he's an ex-Navy SEAL, businessman, but again he has no money, and the problem is, the only people who are going to get Yuki Lee and Mayor Bisson are going to are going to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
And who's going to be the third? And it's likely going to be Bisson and
Cook.
No,
I mean
for
top
the primary.
3 in the.
Yeah,
it's
but
Bisson,
it's probably going to be Petey LaCosta because she's spending the most money.
Okay.
And she's got the most ads, and people don't know what's real and what's not.
It's a real question. She can even approach the 2 front runners that have big support teams and money.
It would take a miracle. And I'm not sure. I would think that Petey. My attitude is I think Petey would be better than either Bisson or Yuki Lee. But that's the best I can say. I can't give her a wholehearted support.
But she'd be open to listening, and especially if we had a super majority going on council, her mind could be helpful.
Persuaded, yeah.
She's a sharp lady.
She's a smart woman.
Yeah.
She knows much of the issues, but I'm not sure she has the local sensitivity.
I understand.
I mean, people seem to focus on her high heels, but people don't remember, or they don't even know because she doesn't do it. But, she's lived in Maui for 36 years. I mean, she used to dance hula. She's done some good things for the island, even though she's lived in a rich enclave in Lahaina. She doesn't really live among locals.
Well, but there are people too,
of course.
You know what I've found? I don't know why this just hit me. Yesterday, I went out to the Temple of Peace. Beautiful place in Haiku.
Love Temple of Peace.
Temple of Peace.
How's
Kadar
Kadar?
had a stroke, and this was first time he was back to the group. It was such a loving thing. It was just incredible. I mean, an example to the world of just a beautiful, loving thing. It just moved me.
It really is. It's a multi-faith church. Everybody is welcome. If you're worried about going to a church that focuses on Jesus or God or what, I mean,
but Jesus
God is everywhere.
There. He's right in the middle.
He's everywhere. But Jesus, but
God.
I'm Jewish. I mean,
they have a Torah
Hawaiians,
there.
a Torah that someone said, "What can I give the temple? I want to give you something." This was years ago, and he said, "How about a Torah?" So he found a Torah off of eBay, I think.
I think it's just an amazing place, and Kadar, glad to say, he's repairing. And right behind him, and right there is Rob Parsons. Neerja's husband,
Rob, but also
another brilliant, wonderful man.
Brilliant guy.
Incredibly
His wife,
capable,
Heather,
super committed
Neerja,
to our island.
Just amazing people.
Yeah. So the potential here is great.
This island could do lots, but what we really, really need. I was talking to someone yesterday who's lived on the island for decades, brilliant woman, and many people have said you should run, but she's foreign, has an accent, she's a real estate agent. She said, I'm not the right guy, but I have the ability. If I could find the right candidate, please, someone out there. This woman is looking for the right person.
What area?
To support any area. Someone who will run for council in 2 years. It'll take 2 years to build them up, build them as a candidate. And then if they show in their term what a great councilman they are, then 4 years from now they could run for mayor. And then this island can really change. But we need that candidate. People who are in their 70s shouldn't be running Maui. People who are young, who lived here all their lives, who love this island, who served their whole life, people who really know the island.
Do you see anyone like that now?
I've not yet. There was somebody, I can't remember the person's name, she mentioned it, but he's traveling around the world and he's 30 years old and he's perfect for the job. He said, nah, I'm having fun with my life right now. But maybe after he's done traveling, maybe 2 years.
A 30-year-old traveling the world, that's got to be an accomplishment.
Well, it's helpful to have parents
that... Mom and dad are...
Well, I don't know if maybe he's made his own money. People have made their own money when they're young.
There's a couple of beautiful people I've met here that just astound me. You know Paul O'Brien? Paul O'Brien?
No.
Maui Meadows. I think it was $4.2 million. He bought the most expensive house in Maui Meadows. Beautiful house. Anyway, but
yeah, my friend just sold his house to Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Oh, Genesis house.
Yeah.
Right. So but everything in Maui Meadows stays nice and quiet. This is a place where celebrities can be and not be attacked by maybe old women will come at you.
It's the friendliest neighborhood. I mean, I walk the neighborhood, I walk the streets, and everybody waves. There isn't a person who I pass on the street I don't wave to, doesn't wave back. Yeah. We're all there to support each other. And that's what we need. I mean, a lot of us right now in Maui Meadows live alone. No family. And we're trying to build a support system for that. Basically, we did that for Lily when she was ill, and I started a WhatsApp group, and all of a sudden, 50 people, 50 friends,
the support group, right?
And everybody knew instantly, and we want to expand that. It'd be a great way for anybody, the different areas of the island, to do that. And if anybody,
Next Door Neighbor, I'm sure the Next Door Neighbor app.
Of course, I'm on it all the time.
So this is especially very focused group. I understood it was the Lily support group that suddenly.
Yeah, I started that.
Oh, I see.
I started that, and I started. I knew 20 of her closest friends,
right.
So I joined them, and I said, if you want to just become a member, it's easy to do, and it grew to 50. And we all need each other. None of us we're on an island. None of us Howleys anyway. We're born here. Very few. Not me.
Why is it that we all understand that and the Hawaiians all understand that? What's the problem? Developers? It's not only developers. It's people that think they're somehow their own island unto themselves. We are such a beautiful...
Well, the thing that's most disappointing and puzzling is that if the Hawaiians would vote and they could agree on someone who represented them, they would control this island. There are more locals, Hawaiians on Maui than any other island. But why don't they vote? Yesterday I saw a documentary on YouTube that really detailed the history of the takeover when the Howleys stole the island from the Hawaiians. And Liliuokalani was passive just to save the lives of her people instead of going to war. And it taught me some things that I didn't know, the details of how Sanford Dole declared himself president of the territory of Hawaii, and the really details of it. And I think it's been a matter of the Howleys have always screwed the Hawaiians, stolen their land. It wasn't my land. And they've just given up hope. They don't believe that anything can be done. Well, I'm telling you right now is the time.
Well, I have ideas involving, I don't want to talk about it yet until it's involving some of the incredibly wealthy people in our islands to pay and put into a trust huge tracts of land in trust for the people of Hawaii to do something on Molokai.
Actually, yeah, well, the fact is that there's a lot of I can't remember the public trust, the organization that has land, and the thing about putting it in a trust, there are a lot of people I know who have land, beautiful land, and they really have built it up, and they want to make it. They want to leave it to the people of Hawaii. They don't want to necessarily. They want their relatives or somebody to possibly use it, but they really are committed. They've developed the property into beautiful, beautiful properties, and there needs to be a new trust that's allowed to be able to do that. But that takes a lot of money. But that's another thing that I'm interested in being involved with in the future, because I've had conversations. I've had conversations with 3 people who want to donate their land. All they need is a trust. They can trust to do it right. And that doesn't exist yet.
You see why we have this show? We have this show to bring up people and ideas that contribute to future greatness of us as a people, that we want to lead by example. We have all the elements here to do just that. And I'm really happy that you showed up here and decided to do the show. So where do we go on all this stuff that you've been doing with, I want to say the Tom Cook thing. Does that have any
legs?
Where does it go?
Well, here's the
thing. People have to understand what's happened.
With Tom Cook, I believe that Judge Hammond of the Circuit Court, who her all adult life she's worked for the county of Maui, one position or another, she was never going to decide against Maui, even if the law was right. So I'm in the Court of Appeals. Court of Appeals takes 2 to 3 years to do a case. Oh. But I will be filing a motion to expedite the appeal. I will be starting a GoFundMe, because these things cost money, and I'm only one guy. I'm not representing an organization. I'm members of organizations, but they're not part of this.
Sure.
This is me, because I believe in justice. Because I came into this world believing in justice. My father was the only member of his family of 8 that survived the Holocaust. His wife was pregnant with his first child, and when they sent her to Auschwitz, they killed my half-sister and her mother the day she was born. And for some reason, something in the Holocaust was in me, and I dedicated my whole life to justice. And I hope to spend the next 10 or 20 years, if God willing, doing it. But going to the beach every day and working on my tan, that's not me. I got to do things. I got to do things for people. The Lord gave me some incredible opportunities and a brain and the energy to do good for people, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what my life is all about.
So are you in private practice, or are you just doing it with your own?
Yeah, I've been in private practice I worked for a law firm from 1980 to 82. Took a trip around the world, met Arthur C. Clarke in Sri Lanka, who got me into the computer industry. I said, what should I do besides practice? So I said, IBM came out with a computer. It's going to change the world. And it did. So I came home after a year traveling through Asia. My friend was in the computer business. He said, buy a compact computer and learn WordPerfect. And I started, that's the first of 4 computer companies I started. I sold one of them to a public company, who then screwed us because they owed us millions of dollars. And so I settled the question, what's more important, what's more valuable, a Harvard MBA, which my partner was, or a law degree from downtown Detroit? Well, that Harvard MBA couldn't do anything when the public company screwed us. But this one man, they were defended by Skadden Arps. I sued them, took them to arbitration. They were defended by Skadden Arps, 1,300 lawyers that I took on, with one friend from high school, who was my best friend, who was a former judge in Detroit. And I went after him. It was just me. And somehow we got a little bit of money to fight it, and we won the case. They settled the case. We made a couple $1 million. And then that's how I got the money to do some later things in my life. But
wow.
And then I started a restaurant and proceeded to lose $500,000. But that's another story. Valuable lesson. You learn from the things that cause you the most amount of pain.
I know that one.
I think we all do. You can look at it saying, why me? Or what am I supposed to learn from this pain?
That's the best one, isn't it?
Absolutely, because that's what life's all about, learning.
And I'm learning that by having this show, I've met some really amazing people that my vision says, this one and this one and this one could meet this one, this should go with this. I've been integrating all these ideas not only in these shows, but for 30 years. Ariel interviewed Lily Townsend
decades ago.
And she's been on, it's really funny. The people that have been on my show, you're naming all kinds of names. Al Perez has been on here. I mentioned Paul O'Brien about his house, but this guy took his passion and owned Tarot.com, sold it to AOL in the 90s. Wow. There are people on this island that have little depths of experience and are beautiful. He has a show called Pathfinders every week a nonprofit.
Well, I just hope some of the rich people of Maui are listening and support the progressive candidates.
Yeah.
We need you. Jeff Bezos.
Right. But there's more than just
your ex-wife. Please.
Isn't it right? Her Mackenzie Bezos. She's not Bezos anymore. She's Phillips.
Something like that. But she's given away hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. She's a generous person.
And that she gets attacked for it, which is really funny.
Please give some to Maui tomorrow.
Well, I have always really appreciated. I mean, remember way back when I was on the board. Here's a little known fact. I was on the board of the Sierra Club early on here. And then I got away because they were really run. They had Mark Sheehan and the group. They didn't need someone like me. I really am so thankful for some of these groups that literally Maui would be a totally different place right now if it hasn't been for incredibly dedicated people. When I think about Lucienne Dene and Albert Perez and Shay Chan Hodges and a Robin Knox, Paul Deloria. These are people that have... Bruce Douglas. Remember that? Were you here for the GMO thing? Or that was...
No, but I followed it.
Wow. I mean, talk about amazing...
And it all took place, and all these meetings took place at HIPSA. Blue Mountains.
Blue Mountains.
At Blue Mountains. And just for those out there who are interested in what's happening, I represented Blue Mountain and Sacred Earth Assembly for the special use permit.
Oh, yeah.
And again... that's why I ended up coming to Maui. I became close friends with Blue Mountain. I represented him during 3 hearings of the Maui Planning Commission, and they approved the special use permit. And on August 13th, 2019, and then because the neighbor of Blue Mountain was a judge called Michelle Druyer, who was, in my opinion, an unethical human being, she complained. But she didn't complain like she was supposed to. She could have legally intervened. She could have legally done a lot of things, but she just worked the back channels. So all of a sudden, without having any legal authority, without having any legal procedure, they went ahead and reversed her permit. They took it away with no basis for it. None. Zero. And in fact, they were even advised by their counsel that they weren't allowed to do what they ended up doing. So... Again, I'm a justice guy. I filed the lawsuit, and this case has been going on for 8 years now. And when I got it transferred directly to the Hawaii Supreme Court, so I avoided. We started off in circuit court, but we ended up. Judge Cahill made some good rulings in circuit court, but then when Michelle Druyer was appointed judge, all the other judges in Maui recused themselves, disqualified themselves. So then it was transferred to a judge on Oahu. And then Maui County said, this case belongs in the Supreme Court. Therefore, they filed in the wrong court. Therefore, you should dismiss it. Well, the brilliant judge on Oahu named James Ashford, I filed a motion and said transfer the case directly to the Supreme Court. And that's what Judge Ashford did. So it was transferred to the Supreme Court 2 years ago, and the briefs were in. I did the oral argument on April 2nd on Oahu, and we're waiting to hear the decision about that, because this again, it was corruption. It was done favors for Judge Druyer, and it was just. But we should win that.
Who covers these kind of stories? I mean, that's quite a story by itself.
Civil beat a little bit, but not enough.
And that's it, right? I mean, then where does it go?
Maui News,
into the sunset.
Maui News, Maui Now. They're
not digging and holding on. And
on Oahu, we used to have Honolulu Weekly. That was investigative. The good thing about the Civil Beat can still do some things because they're supported by Pierre Omidyar, who has unlimited money, and so he can't be controlled. He can't be manipulated by moneyed interest. But they still don't do all the stories that need to be told. But they're the ones.
And he's another guy who could give us big money to make
big
some changes.
Money. Oh yeah.
You know who Pierre Omidyar is? People, tell them. Google. Have they ever heard Google?
No, he started PayPal.
PayPal. I thought that was Elon Musk. No.
No, what? It was one of those.
See, after a while, it gets so
get
big.
them confused.
But I know that all these guys are here and around, and a little bit of crumb of their money could make massive, major differences. Even if we make it a matching fund, and then we'll ask the world. I'm ready.
Well, I think what we might need, if we really want to get a candidate that can take on the moneyed interest, we almost pretty much have to start a pack of our own for progressives. That way people can give unlimited amounts of money if they're rich to support it to support the.
With all the PACs, I'm worried always about their blanket, just what we see doing for the bad guys, we could do for the good guys, but the conversation. I like to empower people to get to know more. These shows, listen to what's going on. Does someone has a slate of candidates? Dig in, be involved. I mean, that's the biggest message of all.
I mean, down in Kihei, we have this incredible Per Arts Playhouse, which provides a forum.
Fantastic spot.
Lynn is just the executive director. Is just I'm so impressed what she's done for this island, for the people here,
incredible.
Giving free tickets to shows to Maui's fire survivors. What she's done for this island, I can't thank enough. And she's still doing it. And we have these candidate forums. Show up. Find out. Ask questions.
Really true. And when you see it on Akaku with these forums, when you watch a show for 3 hours, you kind of, if you look on Maui Neutral Zone, you'll see them each candidate. I give people a half hour or an hour of conversation. You want to know who someone is. Who is this person? You get 3 minutes. That Kihei, the last one I saw in Kihei, I was just amazed at when these people had the mic, what they did with 3 minutes. How do you vote for people on 3 minutes or 6 minutes of time?
And especially, I love to see even when there's a third candidate. Whoever's third, and I'm guessing it's going to be P.D. LaCosta, because at least she's got a campaign. I don't see much of anybody else, and nobody else at that forum impressed me. I mean, there was just lacking.
They don't have a campaign going on. Right.
So if it comes in third, I'd like to see a debate. There has to be debates of those three. It has to be Yuki Lee, Bisson, and if it's PD, it's PD. Give people an option to Sugimura and Bisson.
Well, maybe that's an interesting forum for us to put together. I guess us may mean me, but I'm going to ask. I'll ask those three and see if I can maybe get hosted here for a room.
Especially if you could do it before the primary.
That's what I'm thinking.
That would be
ideal.
That would be ideal. I doubt if Mayor Bisson or Yuki Lee would have the courage.
I doubt it also, but it's worth a work.
It's worth effort.
Conversation. Right? You guys want it too, right? Remember that after today, if you go to MauiNeutralZone.com, you're going to see this show there. There's a search engine, so you can see all of our shows. These transcripts is a really terrific way to see people. Plus, the summaries kind of give you in a thing whether you want to watch the show. It's nice to be able to follow along. What you said here today was more than a mouthful. And not only that, you're more than two mouthfuls.
Yeah, I've been known to talk.
Would you be willing to come back at some point?
Anytime.
Visit?
Anytime. Jason, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to share information. I have this love for the island, and I'll do anything for this island. And I have been doing anything I can do for this island.
I can see you're talking about Blue Mountain. That's Dr. Lou Abrams. Some of you guys know him professionally. May he rest in peace. He was
and turned out, just Judge Drury actually tried to extort land out of Blue Mountain in return for not testifying against the permit. And she did it in writing. She was a judge, but she was a dumb judge because she'd put it in writing, her attempt to extort Blue Mountain.
Is she still in service?
She's circuit court judge.
Wow. I can't even see clearly, but I don't think we got more than 30 seconds left. And he's controlling from in there. Anything you want to say before we leave us?
No, but I want to also put a shout out to Chris Salem, who was another whistleblower, worked for Victorino, tried to clean up a bunch of things and when he made,
maybe Chris will come on the show.
Chris would love to come on the show.
Well, we only have 15 seconds, so we're going to let you go. Les, thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Again.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. MauiNeutralZone.com anytime. Love and blessings to everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Welcome to MauiCoastProperty.com. This visor is our latest innovation. It gives you a whole new view of the future. Experience it now.
Aloha! Support the Maui Neutral Zone. Get affordable visibility for your business. Help us build a searchable archive for our community. Strengthen Maui. Become a founding sponsor today.